Who are you and what did you do?
Hi, I'm Alberto, and I made top 64 to YCS Lille by playing incredibly Gem Knight playing second.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, what was the thought process for this? Why did you choose Gem Knight?
I got to be honest because before playing Gem Knight, I was playing Vanquish Soul for a while from the European Championship and before.
Yep.
But then the balance just hit me slightly, so
Yeah.
I cannot play it as a real deck, even if someone has made a very good result in the last weeks
Yep.
with Vanquish Soul. But I wasn't feeling confident with the deck, so I wanted to play Mitsurugi because some of my friends and my teammates played it,
Okay.
but I wasn't confident about doing a mirror match with someone who has played the deck more than me. So I didn't have the possibility to get an edge. So I decided to not play Mitsurugi. I don't like Yami, even if it's a very good deck.
Yep.
And the other opportunities was Dracotail, but I didn't have that much time to master it. So I
Okay.
decided to get back on Gem Knight, who was a deck I played back in the days while it was an FTK going first.
Yeah.
And I see that I get a really good support. So I decided to play it, and I realized in 2 weeks that literally no one is really prepared to play against a deck like that. And I decided to try it and see how it gets. And I can say it get good, but it could be better if I didn't get the barrier 2 times in game one
Oof.
without even getting trusted or something like that by activating follows. They
Yeah.
just start draw it and set it. Can't do that much against that card.
Oh wow.
But the deck was a very good pick in my opinion and was very solid through all the tournament. I've never had a game without playing or breaking very hard.
Okay.
So I will probably play it again and probably play still the same list with probably some changes, but very, very small, not very relevant.
Take us through some of your choices then. Like you've got Fubulos in the main, but then you've gone for quite a lot of like ball breakers and stuff as well. What was your choice in like sort of like that kind of like combination?
Because playing a lot of entrops against decks like Mitsurugi or Yumi, for example, is not a very good strategy in my opinion because they can still play through and some of the times made full combo even if you entrap them 2 times or even 3 times.
Yeah.
So I just want to play one hand trap that could be good against anyone, and Force is obviously probably the most
Yeah.
famous one for this job. And I decided to play all the possible good board breaker for the format because the deck has a really good engine cards, but very good engine cards
Yeah.
that can play through even some interaction. But you got to check the board because the board is the most difficult thing to check with Gem Knight. And playing all this board breaker allowed me to do that, and I can probably say that it worked, and
Yeah.
even very good sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got top 64, so it definitely worked
Yeah.
very well. So you chose cards like Santa Claus as well. I take that was that respect for the Lunalight matchup, stuff like that.
Yeah, because you cannot get rid of tower by your engine, so you need some specific cards like Kaiju or Santa Claus. And Santa Claus was probably the card that I would change to
Okay.
play the Thunder Kaiju because you can with a fusion in your extra deck bounce back a monster on opponent board, so you can get rid of 2 tower if your opponent doesn't do nothing and decided to stay on his double tower board. But the Thunder Kaiju has a double utility that also has Santa Claus of being a light monster, so it can even be fused to Special Summon Serafinita. But the Thunder Kaiju has also the possibility to be fused to summon Prismaura, that is another fusion in the extra deck that requires a Thunder monster.
Okay.
That will be probably the only change I will make in my list. But I didn't have that Kaiju and didn't think about the possibility of summoning Prismaura in that way.
Yeah.
And I just realized it later and it was too late to change my list. But it was very irrelevant. You will never probably do that really. And
Yeah.
Santa Claus also has the possibility to summon twice of them in the same turn on the same board, even without getting rid of the other. So it's about choices.
Yeah.
The Kaijo will give you the possibility to fuse it for 2 fusion. Santa Claus only for just one. But if you draw 2 of them, you can summon both. So you can choose if you want to play the deck. And in my opinion, nothing of Nev is wrong. It's all about you. But this was the only change I probably will made in my list.
That's fair enough. And then I guess it's lovely to see as well, like Lightning Storm's back to three. As you can see, you've like maximized on Lightning Storms. Well, he's thrown a Regeki in there as well. I think you wanted to blow up the field more than like anything
Yeah,
else. I presume, like from what I can see, what we got,
yeah.
uh,
That was the main plan. That was by far the main plan.
like
And
8 boom cards.
yeah, and having like 4 Duster in your deck with Storm, and that Duster
Yeah.
also can be a Raijeki is good, but most of the time you need one of these 4 cards to get rid of the set. because the board can be easily checked by Droplet, also Salesman, which in all the
Yep.
matchup has a crazy utility going second,
Yep.
and also a crazy utility when you decide to go first.
Yep.
And Ray Jack is probably the most strange card because the deck needs to have your opponent at least one monster to trigger some card, as
Okay.
a Scatter Fusion and Quartz, because they requires your opponent to control at least a monster. But once you like droplet his board and do Quartz, set the Brilliant, then you can go like for Trust Ray Jackie, get rid of all the cards.
Yeah.
And once you resolve the Brilliant, the game state is 99% of the time solved, and you win the match. It's impossible to lose once Brilliant resolved.
Yeah. That's for well. It's the limited card. It's the good one.
Yeah, for a good reason. For a good reason.
Yeah.
That's the craziest card of the deck. It has been crazy also in retro formats while Pendulum comes out
Yeah.
with Performapal. This card is so generic that, and also the fusion that you can summon are so generic. But like for summoning Serafinita, you can send obviously one light monster you want. But in this deck, the possibility of summoning every fusion, also by sending three monster, and all of them triggering would have an effect on the graveyard is literally crazy. You go like on a +4, +5
Yeah.
while you resolve Brilliant, and uh, and you have like 4 Brilliant in your deck because Quartz can set it directly from the deck. So for that's the reason why I said that once this card resolve, you literally win because you get too much plus, and you can play like through even three interruption once it resolve. But most of the time, your opponent will interrupt that if he knows how to play against Gem Knight.
Yeah.
But if you check the board, he didn't have the non-engine to negate the Brilliant. You 99% of the time win is literally impossible, as I said.
Yeah. That's fair. So yeah, Salesman, very strong choice. Yeah, it's kind of come up a lot, and then it's kind of come in and out and in and out, and then some decks. I feel like Lunar Light as well's played Salesman a wee bit, but like yes, you've chosen Salesman here. Like, how did you find that? Was it a brilliant card then?
Yeah, it was. I can honestly say that every game I drew that card, I probably win if my opponent didn't have the border set,
Yeah.
because I literally a check for every board and every deck of the format. For example, against Yumi, if you manage to bait the Herald, or if game one they decide to not do that, to play around Super Poly, you can declare Snatchy first move, and your opponent literally hasn't got a board. The only interaction that he can generate is tag out a synchro to someone like Cookie and Lollipop,
Yeah.
to take one card from your graveyard to the deck and to pop a monster, but they're so irrelevant in the Gem Knight mechanic that you literally don't care.
Yeah.
And you have only got to play against his non-engine, against Mitsurugi, that is by far the best match of the deck. Um, you can declare Murakumo if you don't want to get rejected, and with just discarding one card, you get rid of the strongest interaction they have.
Yeah.
Or you can declare the trap, and then go for like a board breaker, take off his set, and playing literally against nothing because he cannot tribute his Murakumo, he cannot do something else, and
Yeah.
the amount of non-engine in that deck is most of the time set, or the few cards he entropy plays are in his end, and most of the times the strongest interaction they have can be Nibiru or Ash Blossom,
Yeah.
and you can easily check it with the Hollow Core in the graveyard. That is by far probably the strongest card that the deck received with Necrim, because is a Omni Negate, is the level 8 monster in the main deck,
Oh,
the
the
one with the Fire Blade. Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
he's literally circular. He summon himself from the hand by sending by cost Gemini Fusion to the graveyard. That is seems not relevant, but Gemini Fusion in the graveyard can be added to the hand by banishing one Gemini monster an infinite times you want in a turn. You just need to banish one. Is obviously an old card, so it's not once per turn.
Oh
And
yes.
you can use both of his effect. That is, the first one is obviously a polymerization for Gemini,
Yeah.
and the second one is to get it back to the hand. And you can do it all the times you want. And the monster you banish can be shuffled back in the deck with the link to fusion summon, so you never lose your cards. You get every time monster back in the deck, so you can even bait everything with the link and stuff, and that do shuffle back your monster, special summon a fusion. All Locor, while he's in the graveyard, is a Omni Negate by banishing himself and two more Gem Knight cards, and also gives a bump of 1k to all monster you control at that moment. And once you bait everything, you dodge the negate, you activate Holocore, you can easily go for Quartz, Brilliant Fusion, summon whatever fusion you want of the of the ones that requires at least three monster. and go for OTK. That is the plan of the deck. The deck never played more than one turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, the turn you played has to be scenic and killer, because you will never have a turn three.
Yeah.
The deck doesn't have it and doesn't have the resources to do that all turn to every turn. You can just do that one turn, but it's very optimal. The way you OTK is crazy. It's very difficult to interact with, and also while you are doing your board, you generate interaction and generate negate and generate pop and generate bounce.
Yeah.
So you can even get rid of the board while you are building your OTK.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's crazy of the deck in my opinion. It's
Okay.
not like a Tempa. You go straight, do everything, enter battle phase. If something wrong happens in battle, you can do nothing. The deck, while it's building the OTK, is also building cards that interact with your opponent. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the craziest thing of the deck in my opinion. Most of the time, a game two or a game three.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I got to be honest. The deck needs to win game one. It's mandatory for the deck most of the time, by
Yeah.
the way. So going second is literally a game that you don't care that much. So you can even side your cards for going first if you think that your opponent will send you first.
Okay.
Um, because the game three is the game where you choose who's gonna go first, and most of the time you can trick your opponent, like putting all your side deck into your main, then taking off 15 cards, so you don't know
Yes.
if you
Yes.
put out the one you put in or put out some 15 others. And if you go first, that was, in my opinion, the game changer of this list. Is the whole K9 engine.
Oh
And
yeah.
with Saves Ban, you can declare based on what you draw, probably Ash Blossom, Jolly Lockbird, Perma. And yeah, the K9 engine was really the hugest resource that I had in my side deck, the only one, by the way. But
Yeah.
I wanted to play this because the deck going first is obviously not good. If you see the list, the deck doesn't generate interact in the
Yeah.
opponent turn. The only
Yeah.
one is Hollow Core in the graveyard, and so when you go first, you need to win instantly. And the strongest card that allows you to do that through the most number of interaction was by far the K9,
Yeah.
and obviously the Mjolnir lock, because we've seen in the last few weeks how it get in Hanayem, and it went crazy. It
Yeah.
even win the event.
Yeah.
So Noroi do it on his own. Also, the Gem Knight cards can do it on his own. You don't need specifically the K9 to do that in this deck,
Okay.
because you can generate the two Serafinita and one other fusion. The other fusion is needed to get the Core as a negation for some HT that your opponent can activate you. And the two Serafinita are the level 5 that you need to get into the Queen Query. And I decided to not to play the Queen Query and the Dagda in my extra deck, because if for some reason my opponents play like Unicorn or stuff that check on my extra deck, I don't want to let him know that in game 3 I'm gonna go first, or when I'm
Ah.
choosing I'm gonna go first. So most
Okay.
of the time my opponents were siding in like D barrier or stuff for going first,
Yeah.
and then after we ended the side, I tell them I'm gonna go first.
Yes.
And they probably have like they didn't have full arrows, they only have Ash Blossom of permanence, but you can play through them, but you're drawing Salesman, or even if you get hand trapped like 2 times and you get not get into the combo, and but you do trust, you can just trust the barrier, and
Yeah.
most of the deck are dead, as mine, by the way.
Yep.
Most of the deck are dead, so you are going first again with the battle phase, and the plan is again doing your OTK and don't need that much.
Yeah.
But I was playing Protoss before the K9 engine, but
Okay.
the problem of doing Protoss is Jolly Lockbird, Ash Blossom, Impermanence in all the
Yes.
spots,
Yeah.
and you can never do that much. Most of the time against Droll, that is literally a killer. While the K9 are crazy because they can play through Droll very easily. They are most of the time also Ash proof, because when you summon Roy or you like go for Joku, your opponent is scared because he's thinking like, oh my god, he's siding probably 3 Zuna. If I do Ash there, I'm gonna making a deal big that it is of letting Noroi resolve. And but once Noroi has resolved, the game is most of the time over. You have
Yeah.
to have like an end of Vine Traps to stop it. And the craziest thing is while you get into also the Gem Knight and the K9 engine going first, and you draw Nephilim, you get into your standard combo. Also the Armadillo, you get you through your standard combo. So you add, you get to the fusion, And once you summon the first Serafinite is the most generic card of the deck because it gives you an additional normal summon, but it doesn't specifically say that it has to be a Gem Knight or something else. So you can go through your Gem Knight standard combo, so having Serafinite, Hollow, Core in Graveyard, and that it's a negate. And then your additional normal summon can easily be Noroi
Yes.
and getting through all your combo with a negate in the graveyard, generating a negated with Reaper, and then literally FTK your opponent by giving him the Mjolnir. That is obviously searchable by the Dagda,
Yes.
because a lot of cards trigger on board of this deck. There are a lot of spell, a lot of stuff, and probably the most touchy card in my side deck was the TGG exclusive, that is Vingolf's Blessing. Uh,
Yes. This is
that
interesting.
has a double work because it can send a light fairy monster from your deck to the graveyard, and both Mjolnir and both Nephirim, that is a starter of the combo, are both fairy and light. So based on what you draw, if you draw that card, you can easily send whatever you want and do everything. And it's literally an extender because you can normal summon the K9, send the Nephirim, and go through a double combo that is literally FTK because you play through 2 interaction. And even if he has 3, you can still play through. And most of the time, summoning the Queen Query with Lupis, so he cannot get perma. The Reaper checking the Nibiru, the Hollow Core in the graveyard checking some other interaction. So going first was probably most safer than going second with this deck. But I was not sure of winning all the dice rolls. So game one with a lot of board breaker in this format, in my opinion, was very good because all the boards can be break really easy with
Yeah.
breakboard, but not with board breaker. Sorry, but not with engine.
Yeah.
Not so many engine can play through. Like Mitsurugi can obviously obliterate the Yumi board with just Rito summoning Murakumo.
Yeah.
But all the decks doesn't have so many Omni Negate. Maybe just Yumi has one and Mitsurugi with the trap. But playing around just one is not that hard while you
Yeah.
play 23 board breakers in your deck.
Yes.
And so um, going second was good in my opinion, and all those cards worked perfectly. And most of the times, if 2 are matched, like Sazeban Droplet or Storm Droplet, Storm Sazeban, Raijaki, Duster, Trust, Sazeban, Trust, every combination of 2 different, we can say, with just 2 engine cards, win me the game 99% of the time. And
Yeah.
also Khaled is a good board breaker. It's strange to say, but
Yeah.
all
I
the
know what you
decks
mean.
relate on some interaction in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Like having, I don't know, Snatchy on board, the Snatch in graveyard.
Yeah.
Calling the Snatch on graveyard is like FTK. Murakumo must be tributed to get the Raijaki, and you can have called Dracotail has the Phenomena that is probably the most broken interrupt that he has, and getting called it is game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when talking about Dracotail is probably the worst matchup of the deck.
Okay.
But even if I found 4 of them, I didn't lose a single one because they still have to know how to play against that deck. And
Yes.
playing Dracotail against Gemini is not that easy because if you think about putting all your interaction on board is the worst thing to play against Gemini. The most safe one is to play just with one monster. And once you see me adding quartz, or once you see me setting the scatter fusion, that is the other continuous spell that requires you to control a monster, you can easily take off your monster from board with your trap and stay on a empty board. And if that was my way of OTKing you, I cannot more, and I got to
Okay.
pass, and you can OTK me like in 2 seconds and probably 2 moves of 4 summon even under Nibiru.
Yeah.
So it's the worst matchup if your opponent know how to play against you. But if you don't have a plan against Gem Knight, and also in this specific version of Gem Knight, you can still go easily against that. But even drawing Droplet is good against that deck because dodging the flame, that is the trap, the negate spell and trap,
Yeah.
which is the most terrible card against you,
Yeah.
is a chance of playing. And if you manage to get Droplet and a board breaker, it becomes easier to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most of the time also Trust searching for I don't know, the Duster to take off the other trap or the other set he has, or trying to get the Raijaki if he full his board of monster or body that interacts with you is good. And so I didn't have that many problems. The problems I had in my Swiss were the fact that one match I was the one who don't know how to play against my opponent because I get against Dinkabui, and
Oh
I
yes.
knew both engine, but I didn't know how he can breach them and how he can get into them,
Yeah.
and also the amount of interaction delayed that his deck has were crazy,
Yeah.
and I literally lost because I got hijacked 2 times and I cannot do that much against that. And I lost against Lunalight because I won the dice roll and I tell him to go first. And when he summoned Gold Leo, I said, okay, probably this game wouldn't
Yeah.
be that fair.
Yep.
Even if the problem that game was his Baguska, because as I said before, if you drew one Santa Claus or one Kaiju, you can tribute one tower, and that with Aquamarine, that is a fusion monster that you can summon with your Dispersion, that is the first one in the extra deck. While it's sent to the graveyard, you can bounce back a monster, a card your opponent's control to the hand. So you get back your Kaiju or your Santa Claus, and then
Oh,
Santa
okay.
Claus again is other tower. And also Salesman is crazy because if you declare the Liger, he cannot hijack you.
Yeah.
And once he cannot hijack you, you can easily overcome the fusion with your Master Diamond OG, that is the limited fusion in your extra deck. Who gets 100 attacks. You get 100 attack for each Gem Knight monster you grave, so you just have to fulfill your graveyard with monster, and then copy the effect of Quartz, that is the yellow fusion, that allows him to attack twice and deal damage equal to the attack of the monster. So you can have like a 4K monster on board who can attack twice and get over both of his tower, and then OTK with 2 other bodies because the deck has the possibility to like fulfill your whole board with fusion,
Yeah.
and also get them a bump of 1K with all local if he negates. So OTKing is literally the non-problem of this deck. The only problem is getting you in the way of OTKing in a safe way.
Yes.
That is not that problematic. The only real problem of the deck is once everyone in the venue know you are playing that deck and decide to send you first of game
Yeah.
one. This is the only problem that this deck has.
Yeah.
And for this reason, probably the another change I will make was probably taking off the Saryuja because I never summoned that, literally never,
Yeah.
and getting a Baguska that can be an interrupt against some decks. And if
Yeah,
they
that makes
know
sense.
that you are going first, you can summon it, set Droplet if you draw that, and like put a fusion with all occurring graveyard and hope that just a negate and Baguska can save your life.
Yeah.
And that can happen like in some matchup like Mitsurugi, but probably not in some like I don't know, Yumi or other stuff, or like Dracotail discarding Pan and
Yeah.
it's over.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. See as well, one question when it comes to the Quikuri and the Dagda and like what the whole Mnyoya lock, I can't even say it. So because you obviously have to like side these into your extra, and I believe it, like because your sleeves have to be all the same, and like these all have
Yeah,
to be the same as this. Did anybody
in the
catch
side
you?
deck, yeah, in the side deck has to be the same. But
Yes.
the fact that you are siding 2 cards in your extra deck,
Yeah.
most of the people think that you are siding Garura
Yes. Yes.
and Madragon for a super poly. So for this reason, more they will probably tell you to go first, because they say, okay, I will let him go first. His deck doesn't do nothing against me going first.
Yeah.
I'm going to play through against super poly, and I will probably don't have to deal with some more problems because, as I said, the deck isn't
Yeah.
that good going first.
Yeah.
And probably the most important thing while you side is that you get to take all of your 13 remaining cards, put all of them into your deck to not show your opponent what you are siding, how many are you
Yeah.
siding in, siding out.
Yeah.
So don't give him any information about that. And also taking care about how many cards is your opponent siding, to try to know by general knowledge of all the list of the deck and the matchup. If like he's siding 6, he's probably go first. If he's
Yeah.
siding 12, he's probably going second. So also you have to take care probably more of what your opponent is doing and how he interacts with you. Like if he thinks on some cards, if he thinks on so many, uh, to get so many knowledge about all of his cards in his hand, or what he gonna do, what he's going to do, what he want to do. Because some of the times, probably one of the most important thing is game 2 or 3. If your opponent, or you want your opponent to go first, because some matchup are pretty easier. Like if you go second, even if you can FTK your opponent. But if you play against Labyrinth, this makes no sense to me. Only lock him. You literally don't care.
Yeah.
Or like a control deck as the one that won the event.
Yes.
You don't wanna lock him because he didn't care. He's just getting one more card because he's going second.
Yeah.
If you get into Foros and you know that that deck can play Trust or is playing Trust, you probably most of the time didn't activate that. Because if you activate Foros and you get trusted into the buyer, your deck is literally zero.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
Okay.
It's completely an empty deck and full of vanillas cards. You got like 13 vanillas cards in your extra deck, so
Yeah.
it's very important every card you play, and the sequencing of the board breakers or all the cards can be stupid to say, but I always said that most of the time control decks are even harder to play than combo decks because you don't have too many extenders or interaction are the combo deck. But the sequencing with which you activate them is so important because
Yeah.
just missing activating one card before another one, or adding one card instead of another one, can literally let you die by just one card.
Yeah.
So for me, it has been the first time I played a going second deck. I've never, and I thought that I would never do that. But the circumstances was kind of strange because I don't like the deck of the formats, and also the mirror match of some deck are so skilled that you get to play the deck a lot, and I didn't have the time. I didn't have played the other decks except for Vanquish. Going second was so chill, to be
Yeah.
honest, because never paying attention to Fueros, to Perulia, or stuff like that
Yeah.
was so relaxing for me the whole tournament.
Yeah.
And also the fact that you smoke screen are going first side deck, and the opponent can take off his forward because he's saying, now he's sending me first. I take off this card because they are useless.
Yeah.
Most of the times I've never played through Foros. I just played one game, and after the first draw I give him, he instantly draw me, but I didn't care because I have all my K9 engine in hand, so I literally locks him under draw. I was so thankful to him that he drove because he sees the Joku adding the lantern, and he was like, no, maybe he's going to do Reaper. He's gonna negate the draw. I got to instantly draw. He drew me, and I was like, thank you. You get rid of the problem that I was
Yeah.
having with letting you draw like four cards. Because if you draw so good, you can probably do the combo with just giving your opponent two draws that are Dagda and Quinquery,
Yeah.
but it has to be a very, very specific hand. Most of the times they are three or not four draw for Foros.
Yeah.
But the fact that your deck is a going second and you are smoke screening a game going first strategy allows you most of the time to not care about those cards and probably only care about hand traps that can be relevant going first or second, like draw, lash, perma, impulse in some matchup, but impulse is not that relevant because uh, like impulse on Noroi can be good, obviously. But on other Gem Knight cards, it's not so relevant because you have so many ways of fusion summoning that even your opponent doesn't know which is the best one to impulse. So the Mjolnir and Dagdalok, talking about that again, was probably the best choice that I could do, more than the Protoss and the Eschatos I had before, or more than some other going second cards and not having a plan to going first.
Yeah.
And as I already said, we see how this combo is so solid to do and so easy to do with the K9 engine. And having a secondary engine that can even bridge into the K9 because two Serafinita can easily make a Reaper
Yes.
uh, was uh, was very very good, and I really like that much. I
Interesting.
will, as I said, I will probably play the same list, and the only changes would be the Saryuja for a Baguska probably,
Okay.
and the Kaiju for the Santa Claus, but and also probably the other strange card in my deck is Azalea. That is just the cards you need to
Yes.
get rid of your Mjolnir once you set with Dagda. That's the only
Oh.
work that you have to
Okay.
do.
Yes, that makes a
Yeah,
lot of sense.
if you didn't send it to the graveyard with Wingolf Blessing, you set it with Dagda, you have to get rid of that. And while you are not playing Kriston, you cannot take it off with the Sulfafnir. You got to have a card to take it away. And Azalea is the most generic and very easy to do because Nephirim and Oloko are light and dark, and half of your K9 engine is dark, and
Yeah.
also Dagda is light. So it was the easiest card and the most useful to do this work, and it has done it all the times. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. Like, I've never seen too many, like, obviously Tempai had their shenanigans, but I've never seen decks that really, like, a lot of, rather than you thinking about where you're siding, I guess you're, most of the time, you're trying to, like, almost, like, well, it's very obvious you're siding your extra deck cards into your extra deck. And like you said, like, that was what I was trying to figure out. I was like, yeah, in my head, I would be thinking Super Poly. I don't, like, if it was one
Yeah,
card, I don't know what I would think. But yeah, Super Poly was the like, when you see two going in. So, like, you can instantly see their face, you can see their thoughts. And, like, yeah, like you said, like, actually playing that mind games of, like, you're paying heavy attention to what your opponent's doing, how many they're siding in. It's not something that you would usually, like, be crazy like watching, if that makes sense. So it's very interesting to see. It's like a very mind game kind of based deck in a way. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, it's very smart. Like, I guess you play to your strengths, and if that's like something you're strong with, it's a smart way to play. You said a couple about your losses, but like, what were the rest of your matchups on the days
Oh,
then?
I found four Dracutail and I won against all them all. And one of them was a branded Dracutail
Okay.
that literally made me crazy because he was a 60 card deck.
Oof.
And obviously, I'm not playing end drop, so he can go straight and do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And in game three, he built a board that was kind of unbelievable. I've never seen something like that. But he
Yeah.
gave me six draw of wars, and that was very relevant because
Yeah.
the amount of cards in my hand was crazy, and I have access to all my board breakers.
Yeah.
And literally, even if you put that many cards on board, that is the wrong way I said of playing against this deck. You
Yeah.
will never, if you give me six draw of wars, take stay with that board. Even if you can put Dragoon, Mirror Jade, the both the fusion um, of Dracutail, all the sets, you will never get rid of that because I can easily go like for a storm, chain droplet, take that, dodge the flames, negate your board, discard also three cards in my hand. I don't care. I just need two engine cards to OTK you with through two interaction most of the time. So don't let door this deck is probably one of the most secret.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the four Dracutail with one branded Dracutail in them. Then the Lunalight I lost to, the Dinkabui Fire King I lost to,
Okay.
a Malice I lost to, and I found another Malice, so like we're at eight. Then my last loss was against Kristen, and I lose the game one by D barrier, and the game three
Yeah.
after I sales ban is in Cyber Dragon Infinity. He has no Omni Negate on board, just cluster set and one other set I don't know. And I had Reject in my hand and two engine cards, and I was like, okay, this game is over. I don't have to do anything. He has like Nash Knight, Ripper, Tristaros, and the Infinity on board, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, this game is over. I've already won. I activated Reject and I get into Apophis on my Reject and I lose because I can't get rid of Reaper negating the Quartz and the Nash Knight attacking off my Link monster. So and the cluster also popping one. So that was two loss that were crazy because I won the game. I went first because, as I said, if you get into a K9 cards or your Gem Knight cards with plus 6 Band Trust, you can easily win most of the time. And I lose the game one for a hard draw of the barrier of a game I've already won because I literally clean out all this interaction on board, have a negating graveyard, just need to summon one fusion, and I have three way of summoning them. Once I activated Storm to get rid of the set, he flipped at the barrier and he declared fusion. And I was like, okay, this game is over.
Yeah. That's rough.
So that was my last draw, and we are at nine matchups. And then I found two yummy, and I win both of them. Is if you draw two different board breakers, that the matchup is really easy. Because the deck is so resilient to end traps, but not so much to board breaker. And then the last four were surely three Mitsurugi. Yeah, and I didn't remember the last one, but was a very rogue deck, and it was not that easy, not that hard to win. And yeah, the Mitsurugi, by the way, as I already said, is the easiest matchup. I won a game in a spot in a game two when he decided to go first. And as I said, if you don't know what he's gonna do, and I don't find the words to describe it, but it's not arrogant. But if they have the idea of thinking, yeah, I can still win even if I go first again, that is totally wrong because it's very an easy matchup for the deck.
Yeah.
Wherever board you do, if I draw like in two board breakers, I cannot lose. He ended up on Magatama Trap Prayers, Futsu number 90, the Photon Lord,
Yeah.
SP, and Pachycephalus, and I win the game without activating Grey Jackie or Storm or Duster. It was like I summoned Lupis before he normal summoned the Pachycephalus because I sided in the K9 engine because I don't know if he's gonna send me first or second. I tried to enter the battle phase. He declared Magatama in end of main to protect his Pachycephalus. I said okay, and then Salesban declaring the trap. TTT to take control. He chain SP and banish Photon Lord and SP. Give me the Pachycephalus. I was like normal summon Joku up to the Pachycephalus. And he instantly prayers me. Then call it on Murakumo. He summoned back the Futsu. Literally has no more interaction. I knew all cards in his hand. And then I activate Joku to get the Izuna. Set the Reaper to be safe for a strange interaction that I didn't know. And then the last card in my hand was the Gemini Dispersion, which is the spell of the engine that can both be a branded fusion if you have Gemini Fusion in your graveyard, or both just add Gemini cards monster to your deck from your deck. And I literally add my Quartz, discard it, set Brilliant, activate Brilliant with Reaper protecting for Rush, and the game was over. And literally the craziest board I've been through was the easiest one to get rid. The one we can say, or the weakest one were the one that I lose the game sometimes. Game one of round one, I lose by my opponent saying pass on empty board. He literally bricked, and I have only Quartz and Scatter
Oh,
Fusion in my hand, and I could not activate neither of them. I go for Nephirim, get Veiler. I go for the spell, get Ashed, and I was like, pass. Hey, he drew the Rahu, and he literally OTK me.
yeah. Yeah.
More the board is big, and most of the time easier is to get rid of that. The harder to dismantle is the smartest one. If
Yeah.
your opponent plays smart and delay all of his interruption is very hard to get rid of all them with if you don't have a strong hand. But I mean, if your opponent played that smart, even in all other matchups, he will probably win against anyone. Yeah. If you win against a deck who play 23 board breakers and an engine that OTK 99% of the time, it means that your board was unbreakable. So I can deal with that, and I can do that much. So
Yeah.
when
Okay.
when you lose going second, it's just because your opponent has a very good board,
Yeah.
and you cannot deal with that even with Mitsurugi, Yami, or other decks.
Is there anything you think we've missed going over at all? Any questions you think I've missed?
Probably no. As I said, the most important thing to do with this deck is take your time and think, because it's like playing a puzzle. You will always find a solution, and if you cannot, that means that that puzzle cannot be resolved and it's not your fault. But in my opinion, and I don't know, I don't want to be arrogant, but the deck list had been so many changes, and I in 2 weeks, and I played it so much because I hate to get to an event, and I'm from Italy, and I go to France, to the north of the France, so
Yeah.
it was like a big trip, and I don't want to go there just to have presence and be there. I always want to compete. I mean, if you play this game and you want to go to YCS and taking flights and taking nights and getting away from work, you care about that. So I always take my time to think, because I mean, you just play one turn. If you f up, you instantly lose.
Yeah.
So I always say, if you want to play this deck, take your time, because you will never get to time. I mean, you play one turn, you cannot go to time
Yeah.
with 15 minutes playable. So take your time, think about everything, and also you probably have a better knowledge of your opponent's deck than yours,
Yeah.
because if you don't know some interaction, you would just lose every time.
Yeah.
So, and luckily I play so much on real and also on simulator,
Yeah.
and also I test with good players, so I always have a good knowledge of the format. It's really hard to get me unprepared about a matchup, and this list was actually probably the end of a work of being prepared against everything but don't want to play those decks.
Yeah.
And this was the result, and I think that it worked off. As I said, I could have been, not for my fault, but the result could have been good, better.
Okay.
But yeah, the two match I lose because the barrier is, you cannot do that much.
Yeah. Can't
The
help it.
Luna like matchup is a nightmare for everyone. So
Yeah.
uh, and also it's a nightmare. But I had the possibility to overcome the two towers, but the Baguska was too much. Baguska and two tower was too much.
Yeah.
Um, And the Dinkabui matchup, I mean, he didn't know my cards. He read them on Neuron, and he still interacts with them as best as he can and in the perfect way to do. So, I mean, against a player like that, you
Yeah,
can not do that matches.
it's Dinkabui, isn't it? Dinkabui is
Yeah,
Dinkabui.
exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't have regret about losing with him. I mean, probably I'm just one of the infinite ones that loses. So.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So yeah, awesome. You've gone into a lot of detail and you've covered a hell of a lot there. So yeah, any shout outs you want to do?
Yeah, I want to surely shout out all my friends and teammates who got me with Lille and also the one that didn't get there. My team, the Project 7X, and all the guys from the team because it's in my mind it's really hard to support the idea of playing a deck like that.
Yeah.
But after I show them some replays, I tell them about the mechanic of the deck and my ideas for the going first. They were all hyped and they show me so much support and shooting through all the weekend. So that was very cool. It was probably one of the best event, even not the best result of my life, but one of the best event
Yeah.
I've ever played because I was playing a very strange deck, but it was working. It was not like the
Yeah.
rogue
Yeah.
who goes 4-0 and then lose 4 matchups straight. Uh, it was so it was very enjoyable, and also the tournament went straight. There was no problem in the organization, so I passed a really good weekend with my friends and with this deck that I don't know if I'm gonna play it no, more times. I mean, good players know when it's time to leave the table, and
Yeah.
I will decide and I will see him along. But yeah, all my teammates, all my friends, Medza, who's a friend of mine, who we played together for like 15 years, and he was the one who told me to try this deck,
Yeah.
as you know, I played it in the past, and so I got to shout out him. I also gave him 15 sleeves of the YCS top because he deserved them. The work was half and a half,
Yeah.
so just this. And thank you to give me this space to explain the deck and the ideas behind all this
Of course.
process.
Thank you very much for coming on. You've been very, very clinical, very, very detailed. So I appreciate the insight. A lot of nuggets of gold, so to speak. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on and congratulations once again.
Thank you. Thank you.